Hello and welcome back. So we have moved on to question 2b, which is about key signatures. You are given a clef and a key signature, and you're asked whether it's to give the major or the minor of what that key signature is. And for this, we just need one magical guide, which is the circle of fifths. I've ranted and raved about this in previous videos, and I will continue to, because it's the equivalent of the periodic table for chemists or the times table for mathematicians. It's just really useful and explains relationships between different notes. So I'm going to write that out, and I have a little acronym for that. It's fat cats go down and eat bacon, go down and eat bacon. And we start at, if we imagine a kind of a clock, we start at the 11 o'clock position with fat cats go down. Just reaching the 3 o'clock, we go and eat bacon. And then the second part of the acronym is go down and eat bacon, which is lower because we flatten it. Go down and eat bacon. And that is 100% worth memorizing and writing out in this exam, because fat cats go down and eat bacon, go down and eat bacon is not too hard to memorize. Just grab a piece of paper, try it out a few times. If you can do it right 3 times in a row, checking against this, then you've got it. Because if I just kind of draw kind of a straight line down and then well, that's not very neat. No, still learning the controls in this one. There we go, just to make it clear that this is the top, this is the bottom, right and left. This explains all the relationships for the key signatures, so it's going to be useful in this question, going to be useful in other questions. So it's definitely worth memorizing and kind of getting to grips with, because this side of the circle of fifths is sharp and this side is flat. So if you go around clockwise, it's sharp. If you go around counterclockwise, it's flat. What do I mean by this? So C major has no sharps and no flats. We all love C major as musicians. If your sight reading question is in C major, you know you're going to be in for a nice time. And then the further you go around, the more sharps or the more flats you add. So for example, if you go around once around the circle of fifths to G, G major is going to have 1 sharp. If you go around twice, you're going to have 2 sharps, sorry, so 1, 2. If you go around to A, that's 1, 2, 3. And then if you go around 4 times, go 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you had a question which was, I don't know, 4 sharps, and it was major, then it's going to be 1, 2, 3, E major. Let's go around the other way. So if you had 1 flat, you can go 1, that's going to be F. And likewise, you could do it the other way. If you said, how many flats does A flat major have? You could go 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to have 4 flats. So let's use this to answer some questions. Now, first thing we have to do is check the key signature. It doesn't actually matter too much, but just remember what note is flattened, because that can sometimes help us. But also the main part is check if it's major or minor. If it's major, we're going to use this system. Oh, sorry, excuse me. We're going to use this system. If it's minor, we're going to have to add in something slightly different. So let's go through just as it's major. So we're going to go, how many flats do we have? 1 flat. So let's go around once. We're going to go 1, which is F. So that would be F major. And if you're a performer, I'd recommend checking this, kinesthetically, or I've mentioned before, draw out a keyboard and kind of check out if this is the right key signature for this key. So F major would be F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. I know that as a performer, that works fine. That's the right answer. Let's go around the other way. So we have 1 sharp and it's major, so we can use our system. So if we go around once around the circle of fifth, we go 1, which is G. So we know that this is G major. Again, you can check against your scale. So G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. That's the F sharp. That's great. Let's try something slightly harder. Let's try one with 3 flats. It's major, so we know that it's going to work. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, because we have 3 flats. So that's E flat major. If you got given the circle of fifths, this would be such an easy question. But instead you just have to memorize it, and then it's an easy question. So don't worry too much about this one. Just learn the circle of fifths, and you'll be absolutely right as rain with this one. So let's have a go. We know it's major, so the system's going to work. 1, 2, so we can go 1, 2, D major. If you're a performer, feel free to check it out. We can go D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. I know that works. That's great. Let's try one before we go into the minors. Let's try one in a different clef. So this is in bass clef, and it doesn't matter. All we care about is major, and we've got 1 flat. It's the B flat, so we're going to go 1. And we know it is because 1 flat, we've already got that up here. It's the same, it's F major. So let's have a go at doing this one. So these are minors, and we're going to need to slightly change our circle of fifths. Sometimes if you Google search for the circle of fifths, you might find the circle like this on the outside, and then a second circle starting with A underneath C, and then it will be E here and B here, and then underneath F it will be D, which is a way of showing the relation between the relative major and the relative minor. But I think an easier way, which you may recall, is write major here and minor here. So if you turn your head 90 degrees to the right, you'll see that this is now the top. So this is going to be no sharps, no flats in A flat major. This A minor is going to have no sharps, no flats. D minor is going to have 1 flat, 2 flat, 3 flat, 4. And if you went around this way, so E minor is going to have 1 sharp, B minor is going to have 2 sharps, and so on and so forth. So let's have a go using this system. So we will start with this one because it's slightly easier to go flat with the minors using this kind of shorthand. So how many do we need? We need 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that will be F minor, which is great. That's how many sharps and flats, how many flats we need. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go for this one. This one's going to be slightly different. So we're going to need to go sharp. We need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to go starting off from A, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which would be A flat minor. However, I'm just going to scribble that here. We also need to check that if we have a kind of flat, we need to check that it matches up what we have in our key signature. If we have E flat major and then we had sharps in here, it's definitely not going to be E flat major. If we had I don't know, D flat and we had sharps up here, it wouldn't be D flat. It would be the enharmonic equivalent. So instead of A flat, we can also think of A flat as G sharp. They are the same sounding pretty much. So G sharp and A flat are enharmonically equivalent. So for this one, it would be G sharp minor. You just have to check. And if I played a flat minor scale or a G sharp minor scale, they would sound exactly the same. But written down, there is a difference, and that's what we kind of need to work out in this paper. And that's the sort of question that can trip you up. So just be careful to make sure that if you have a flat here, for example, there is also flats up here. If it doesn't match, you need to change what's written here to the enharmonic equivalent. So if it's A flat, it will be G sharp. And if you had G sharp as your answer, but then realised in the above part there was all flats in the key signature, then it wouldn't be G sharp, it would be A flat. But that is this question. That's question 2b. And this is where we're going to write our circle of fifths, and we will refer to it in future videos, in future questions. So you're going to keep flicking back to this one. So definitely have this written out and have a go at memorizing it. Do it again and again and again, just so you got it in your heads. Fat cats go down and eat bacon. Go down and eat bacon.